So, in our interactions so far, we have been looking at so many things like globalization, culture, ethics. What should be the ethics? What should be corporate social responsibility? How should we go into negotiation, understanding political economy, techno- tech, disruptions made by technology, government policies, FDIs, economic integrations, issues related with money, loans, international trade, so many various things under international trade. And now we have reached to an extremely important area under international trade. Because why it is important? It is important because it is going to run all the game in the international trade, in the international trade. And what is that thing? That thing is strategy. What is your strategy? Yes, you have the goal, you have your objective, vision, mission, you have all the things, whatever are required in the initial phase. But how are you going to achieve that if you are going to go into international trade, international market? How are you going to do that? uh, you would want to look within first self. What are the skills, resources, competencies? What are the things you have? That is why as we started our discussions, I made this point. If you guys can recall that, in the first you start in your area. You don't become an international business just from day one. That is not the right policy, and that is not going to work out maybe also. Because you want to start your product service in your area, let people test it, see what is happening, take feedback, improve the product, grow it in your town, in your province, in your country. And then you slowly come out. After all the research, you would want to go that, and by the time you would go in the international trade, international market, if you have done all these type of things in the earlier part, you would have made the product or service at a level where it would have those characteristics which would make it stand out in the international market. So what is that? This is your strategy. You start small, you experiment, see what you are good at, what are the things you are going to do on your own, what are the things you will. Our friend mentioned comparative relative advantage and those type of things. So you would want to think about those things and then decide where you are going to invest your energies in. What is your prime focus? That is part of strategy. How you are going to differentiate your product from the crowd? Is it that your cost is very economical, you are going to compete on cost? Or is it you are going to compete based on the competition? You are going to compete based on consumer. I think those are the three C's. We're going to look at them shortly in a bit. What are different maybe the initial pointers in the strategy. But let me ask you guys. You guys have been having great discussion so far. So if I ask you that, uh, what should be the strategy to be successful in international trade? In other words, what are the things we need to keep in mind uh, to be successful in international trade? Because first we want to understand that these things are very important. Based on our own understanding, these things are key things, which are very important if we want to be successful. Once we know that, then only then we can we can have a strategy. If we don't know what is important in international market, and if you reflect back, you would be able to pick up the pointers from earlier discussion. But this time the only difference is that we are going to talk about strategy a little bit. So but the things remain same, that yes, you would want to have an understanding of that culture, of that market, consumer behavior. But twist that earlier conversation to strategy. what should be the way? What is strategy? Strategy in simple words, what is the way? Which are the steps? Step one, step two, step three. How you should go about penetrating in some international market, in international trade? What are some of the best practices? And you can look around and see how different businesses were successful in going into international trade. What was their strategy? I showed you example, for example, of Netflix. What was their strategy? I showed you that in same time they went into 190 majority of the countries in that, not all, but you can read the details in that in your own time how to do it. So what was that? That was their strategy. Uh, Other type of things which are happening in current environment, you can look into that. Have businesses closed themselves? No, many businesses have not. Yes, many businesses have gone out of the business, but many businesses have not. What is their strategy to cope with this situation? Maybe they are gone online, maybe they are doing a work from home, maybe some other thing. What is their strategy to cope with this situation? But even before that, when the competition was too high in the market, what is their strategy to cope with that competition? Do they give discounts to attract new consumer? So they say, well, you will pay less, or do they bundle the products? Yeah, many times you will see that. So buy one, get one free. What is that? That is their strategy. When they say that on weekends you will get X discount. If you bring girls are free, girls can come free. We have this type of strategy in our country here. So in some nights they will say that girls can come free of cost if they can bring a friend. So friend who is joining, a male friend, he will pay, but the girl can come inside uh, without paying. These are promotional strategies. Yes. Uh, Entry into market, there can be strategy. You can link it with other things like collaboration. Like you want your strategy is not to go alone in the international market, but your strategy is to combine mergers, partnerships, joint alliances, those type of things you are doing. What is that? That is your strategy. Uh, and within your life, you think about various strategies you made for different things in your life. Look into those things. That this and think about it. That what are the fundamentals for strategy making? When your strategy was successful in your private personal life, at work, in school, whatever small level strategy it was, it does not matter. We want to just understand that what are the fundamental things which we should keep in our mind when we are making any strategy. Yeah, that is the fundamental question. All of you should be able to say one thing or another. Please participate in this discussion. I think this is very important because this is the key thing, strategy. Yeah, yeah. So please go ahead. Anything you can say on that would be nice. Yes, please.
So I think many companies are taking customer as the king. So
Uh,
the customer should be the customer should be the like the company has to take the customer as a very important like the strategy has to be according to the customer behavior and or their needs. So for example, they could according to their income, so they could change the price to higher or lower, and also their needs, so they could produce or develop the new products to fit their needs.
Yes, thanks very much for this important point, Ryan. So this is part of the strategy. So one business is going to say that our strategy is that our focus is on the customer. Customer is king. Ryan is saying that. So in that they would want to know all the things they are doing in that business, they are somehow going to link it with the customer. That customer satisfaction is very important. So if this is So many businesses would just say it, would just, lip service. They will just say, customer is king. But when you go there and you have some issue, you will very soon realize that this is just a marketing phrase for them. On the other hand, there are many businesses who really mean it, that customer is king. So if customer is king, what is going to be your strategy to train your workers? Yeah. So if customer is king, you are going to train your employees, your front desk staff, to be very courteous with your customer, even if they are making some complaint, even if customer gives some harsh words or is not happy and show frustration. If customer is really king and that is your strategy, you are going to have the training for your front desk office and staff who deals with customers, that okay, when a customer comes and they are angry, don't worry too much about it, don't take it personal, listen to them, empathize with them, don't be rude with them, all those type of things. Why? Because your strategy to be successful is that you think that if you make customer the king, you will be successful. So for that you are going to strategize all the things. When customer gives some negative comments to you, some negative thing in the feedback, you look it as an opportunity to improve your product, you improve your strategy. So you will be very serious about customer feedback. That will be part of your strategy to improve your product and service. That will be part of your strategy in research and development, R&D. It will be, you will not take it for granted. It will not be just a box where people just come in and put in their feedback. No, you are going to take it very seriously, because this is part of your strategy and you really believe that customer is the king. So you are going to focus thing on this. uh, on the other hand, so one thing is customer is king. On the other hand, a company can, or on the similar hand, a company can have a strategy that our employee satisfaction is critical in our strategy formulation. So the people who work in our company, it is our part of strategy that we make them happy, we make them satisfied, we give them training, we give them better of anything whatever they want. If they want to, for example, we mentioned about having a nap at work for half an hour, for 1 hour, whatever, you are tired, just go back and just have a rest, and that's about it. So that is your, because why that is your strategy, because that is also linked with customer, but you are dealing it with the lens of your own worker. So you are saying, when my worker will be satisfied, when my worker will be happy, engaged, involved, they will automatically serve the client in a good way, because they are not frustrated, they are enjoying their job, they are motivated, they are having fun. Yes, they are working, but they are enjoying it also at some stage. So see, this is your strategy. Yeah. On the other hand, if your strategy is that you are going to maximize your profit, and you are just dependent on that, then you are going to, it will be very different. If your, so things are linked here. So the cost of your product, how you are going to cost it, how you going to price it. If customer is the king, you are going to have a different type of costing. If your worker, your employee is the king, you are going to give the product and services that business makes, you are going to give it to a discounted price to your workers. So many businesses are like that. So if you are working for a business, and they make some products, whatever they make, they will say, okay, you can buy these products because you work here, you can buy these products at a discounted rate. So you, where you are working, you will just get the product and you will have to pay less. Yeah. So these types of, see how these things are linked. What is your, so but specifically we would want to talk about, like, in international trade, how, what can be some of the strategy. We can talk about that. You can share your own thoughts, your own experience, that when your strategy is successful, these are the things which you keep in mind, so we can benefit on that. So feel free about this. No, anything on strategy will be fine, and we will eventually be able to connect it with international trade. Please go ahead.
So a really important factor in even developing a strategy and having a strategy is just to gain information. So you just have to do your research. So if you, for example, want to make your customer happy, customer is king, you have first of all have to know, well, what is it that makes them happy? Um, what is it that that they want to have? What are they looking for in a product? And then maybe look to competitors or something. What are they doing? How are they being successful? Maybe are there some best practices or something that you could use? So yeah, that's very important. And then on the other hand, once you have actually established a strategy and have done that, you also need to know how to measure if you've been successful or not. So you need to have, I mean, we've already mentioned that you need to have key performance indicators. So, but you need to know if they're happy or not, and if they aren't, where do you have to improve yourself?
Great points. Our friend is talking about KPIs, key performance indicators. She's talking about research, exceptionally important. Research is in anything you are going to do in international trade. Research, 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 and then research again, and then go to that place and then research, and just keep on doing research and improving it, because you never know what you are missing. So that is very important. But what I really, really loved, that line I really loved, and I want to talk about that line. Our friend is saying that what customer really wants. What customer really wants. I want you to reflect on this, please. Please reflect on this. What customer really wants. Ask yourself, do you know? What you want? Do you know? Ask yourself, do you know what you really, really, really want, uh, or no? Just reflect on it. Just take a moment. Just think about. Just forget about everything else. Forget about everything else. Just focus on this simple question. Do you know what you want? What you really, really, really want? Yeah. So if you will reflect on this, and if you have not given this question a thought in your life, you will very soon realize that we don't really really know what we want. We don't really know what we want. And our friend is saying, know what your customer wants. So if we can't even know what we really, really, really want, uh, in various aspects of life. It is not just linked with international trade. I'm asking, like, in generally in life, what do you really want? You you can't be 100% certain if you know it, because think about it. What you want today, do you want that thing tomorrow also? In this moment you want something maybe, but you don't know if you will still want it in the future. Think about it in this way. When you are 5-year old or 6-year old or 10-year old, just go back and think about the things you are wanting at that time. Do you still want those things now? What you are crying for in the past, in anything, it can be anything. It can be, just to relate it, it can be a relationship. You are crying for someone in the past. You really wanted someone. Do you still want them? Maybe not. It's that phase is gone, something happened and it's over. Yeah. So same way, so there is a research in marketing, and what I'm saying is I'm basing whatever I said from that research. And that research is published by Harvard University. You can look it up. um, uh, the research says that we cannot know what customer wants, because customer also does not know what they really want. So we are going to trick their mind by doing various things, so they think they want it. So why do you think that a chocolate is sometimes, some companies label it with green, some company label it with the blue wrapper, some yellow wrapper, some white wrapper? What is that? What is that? What different colors? So they are just thinking a consumer who likes blue color, he is going to come and grab the blue chocolate. Do they really want that chocolate? That is a deep psychological question in this. Or they are being influenced by the wrapping of that of that chocolate, or they are being influenced by their friends who are buying that chocolate, or they are being influenced by the marketing campaign which is being run, or the advertisement on the newspaper they saw, or the YouTube advertisement which they saw, and they liked it, and now they want to buy it. So they are using all these things. So knowing customer, our friend is asking, know your customer, and of course know your customer. But the question is, do we know ourselves? And we are also consumer, we are customers. So if we know, I'm not saying all of you are, you don't know yourself. That is not the point. Maybe you, all of you know yourself. Maybe that is very personal, and I'm not debating that you don't know yourself. I will be very happy and excited if you say that I know myself and I really know what I want and I really know where I'm going and I have sorted out my life and I know step 1, step 2, step 3, and very good, excellent. I'm so happy to hear that, if that is true. But for majority of the people, that it is not like that. So knowing the customer in that regard is very. So now, and this we are going to discuss this in a more detail in our session, where we will talk about global marketing, international trade and international marketing. We are going to touch on this, but it is good that this is here. Our friend mentioned it, so please think about these things. Yes, please go ahead.
I think one step in the right direction to get to know your customers is also to hire local people. So a best practice of this would be franchising, because look at all the big companies like McDonald's. They are so big in every country because they franchise. So people are leading the company in the country they are from, and they know what the customer do want there, because everywhere there are other cultures, and what works in Germany will not work, for example, in Jamaica one to one. And one big example, for example, would also be IKEA, who
Yeah.
is successful in every country, but the Asian market is kind of hard to get because they will not want to assemble their furniture themselves. And I think in
Excellent.
general, implementing a strategy might be the easier part, but like sticking to it is
Oh
super
yeah.
hard, because there are always things coming up you would have not thought that they will happen, but at
Yeah.
the end they make it struggling to keep the
Yeah.
strategy.
Yes, yes. This, please, guys, pay attention to this, which Lee said in the end. She's saying that it's like new things will be coming up. So you have your strategy, yes, all set. But our friend is directing us that because it is international trade, you can't plan for everything. So new things will be coming up, and then you would might have to adjust or readjust your strategy for that. So this is like those balls we just juggling with the balls, up and down, up and down, up and down, that type of thing is there. So it is something of that sort also. She has giving example of McDonald, IKEA. They are wonderful examples. Please look into a little bit more detail if you have time. But in the same thing, one thing I would want to mention, that yes, strategy formulation, and you are changing it a little bit and so on, but think about for example, just run a Google search, McDonald franchise in Germany, McDonald franchise in Korea, McDonald franchise in some other country, McDonald franchise in some other country, and look at the images. What so you want to understand that how a franchise of McDonald looks in different countries. Please run a Google search on this. I think this is important. So yes, so you will see that there are certain elements in the franchise, how it looks, the visual, where the counter is, where the line is, where the the visuality of the franchise. You will see that many things are similar. So that is part of their strategy. They want to change the strategy in the markets by offering different. Yesterday, some friend was mentioning that one of the these fast food chains, they sell rice in certain markets. If you guys remember that, yes. So yes, they will do those things, but the visual impact, the menu, where the menu is going to be, the lighting, the seating. Generally speaking, you would once you look at in the different markets. Using Google, you will see that there many things are similar also. Yeah, so this is a challenge again in the strategy, especially in international trade. What are the things we are going to change in different markets, and what are the things we are going to keep consistent? Yeah, uh, for example, the taste of Coca-Cola or Pepsi, it has to be, if you like that in Germany or Jordan or Palestine or wherever you are, when you come to Jamaica and you buy that product, it should taste same. But strategy, what is the strategy? For example, what is marketing strategy of Pepsi in Jamaica? That is going to be totally different from the marketing strategy of in Germany. Totally different, but there will be some segments in the strategy which will be consistent. Yeah, so it will be different, but things they would want to keep some things consistent also, because they want to have a identity for their brand, because it is international. So an identity, they want to keep that identity. And our friend mentioned the importance of having cooperation with local people. That is going to be the key in this. Yes, please go ahead, next one.
Yeah, so what I also think what really is important to be successful with your strategy next to research or adapting to markets is that we also always have in mind what's happening right now and what will happen in the future. So as we said, there is so much globalization right now, and it will be going on, and the era of artificial intelligence just has started and all the technology. So there will be, yeah, some things disappearing in the future, and also jobs will go away. And I think we have to keep that in mind, and also not only for the company strategy but also for ourselves,
Oh,
because
yeah.
if we just think on, yeah, we want to do this and that, but we do not know if that will be even possible in the future. But if we go into ourselves and really maybe find out what our passion is and what we really want to do, then we could be able to, yeah, have our own competitive advantage to,
Yeah,
like,
beautiful.
yeah, be still
Beautiful.
successful.
Yeah, you read my mind. That is the way I also think. So thanks for that. Please pay attention to this point which Sab made, that not just for the companies, not just for international trade, but for our own self also. These conversations are important for ourselves, because not all of us are going to go in international trade. I am not in international trade at all. I'm not trading commodities. Well, I'm trading myself with you guys for now, like exchange of dialogue. But outside of that, there is no trade going on. But these things, these are applicable in our life. So pay attention to this line which Sab mentioned, that we need to link with what is happening in our industry. So because of that is what the research again is all about. You want to know where the trend is going, so you are prepared for that in your personal life. And of course, if it is a product service which is going to be traded in the international market of that, for that also. Thanks for that. Next one.
Okay, so you asked for the step-for-step approach. What would be the most important steps to go international?
Yes.
So I would like to link that to a personal example. So when I was 15, I lived in a small village and the buses only went 2 times a day. So I was looking for a thing where I could go independent to the school in the next city. So I did some research and I found out that I could use a bicycle, motor bicycle, to go there because at 16 years old you're allowed to do that. So this would be the first step. Do your research as well with internationalization. Maybe you don't want to be too dependent on one country, so you want to diversify your sales opportunities. So you try to be independent and go to another country. The next step I took was research some financial things. So you will need the financial resources to expand into that other country to go international. And I also looked out for a summer job to finance my motorbike and yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And after that, I of course did search for driving school. That would be the partner you're searching in the other country to have someone there that can help you with the cultural differences and everything that you will need. So that would be the 3-step approach I would go with, and it was a success with my motorbike. I rode it for 3 years until I did my driver's license, so it was a success. I think if you do that to go international, it would be also a success.
I really love this example, and I'm sure all of the participants appreciated your personal story on this, because very beautifully you linked so many aspects which an international trade is going to do. They are going to do these same things. How you went into researching what is the other option for you from taking that from having your own transportation mode, then financing it, you went into that and all that research. That's exactly what international trades are doing. So thanks very much for this beautiful example. So this is what I want to promote, that these things which we are looking at, you don't have to, you have to link it with your own life story, life example. And if you have any interview in which you have to answer these type of questions, I would really encourage you to try this technique which our friend just used, because she just demonstrated how she did all the things, different things, researching and finding the other option, and saving her time and even financing, and then all those type of things she did at that. So the person who is listening to this response, I think it is going to make an impact. On the other hand, if you answer this question by just something which is theoretical, and that maybe you also have done the same type of thing which our friend just mentioned, but because you did not say it, it won't have that much of a impact. So please consider your response, how you respond in, especially in interviews and these type of things, where we just have couple of seconds to tell the other party how you are going to tell someone in just 20 seconds, 30 seconds, the crux of the matter. And that is the skill which I want to hone in you guys. That is why I included participation for you. This is, and please don't be shy, don't be afraid. No one is going to laugh at you, or no one is going to say, oh, why you said this. And that is not the culture of my sessions, at least. So you just say what you have to say, and this is my responsibility that I will link it with international trade. Try to see that how you can pitch the idea in just 20 seconds, 15 seconds, and so on. It is a great practice. So I really encourage all of those who have not been saying anything at all. It is repeat people who are contributing in discussions, and they are just improving their skills of exchanging point of view across this medium. So I really encourage you, even if it is a line or 2 lines, don't be shy. Just step forward and say your thing, and don't worry about the participation grade. Don't worry about the score. You will be fine in that. Participation is just, that was just there to make you involved in this. You will be fine in that. Yes, please go ahead. Next one.
So I want to pick up on your point of the customers are king and on the human resources. I think for international trade, you definitely need a good human resource strategy. This is important since, first of all, many countries suffer from skilled worker shortage. So they actually suffer from the so-called like brain drain. So these workers leave the country to work in a country with better working conditions. So if new companies would come into that country, they will maybe not have even workers to employ. So they really need to focus on putting their employee first and make sure that the employees are satisfied. Because I think a lot of employees are also stating, I think it's like 2/3 are stating that if they are not appreciated by their employer, they would quit their job and look for a new
Oh yeah,
employer.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think like you really have to ensure that your employees are satisfied. And I believe that if your employees are satisfied, share your values of the company, they will take good care of your customers. So your customers are automatically satisfied too.
A beautiful point. Thanks for that. Please, guys, run a Google search. Simple Google search. What percentage of workers are not happy with their job in the world? Please run a Google search. What percentage of people, or what is the how many people are not satisfied with their job? You will be astonished. A majority of the people who are working, they are not happy with their job. They want to change it. They are not motivated to do the job. Around the globe, this is the situation. I'm not talking about a specific country. If you look at globally, people are not satisfied with their job. You can ask yourself, are you satisfied with the jobs you guys have? 85% do not like their job. Anna is telling us 85% people do not like their job. Anna is telling us. I'm not telling that. Yeah. So if the figure is wrong, then I would say 86%. Make it 86%. Just go up. A majority of the people, look at that figure. Just, can you imagine that? And we are talking about international trade, how much it is going to take for international trade, where majority of the people are 80, not majority, 80 plus percentage not happy, do not like their job, not interested. Ask yourself, so that is why, as other friend just mentioned a while ago, how important it is to find something which you are really passionate about, where you are really interested in. Only then you can meet the challenges and obstacles and go on and on and on. Otherwise, international trade, you will come out just like that. One difficulty, two difficulty, you are going to come out. You won't be able to deal with that. Amazing pointers. Very good. Next one, please.
Yeah, so I would add to Teresa's point. I think that international and diverse teams, even if you're just in one country, are also an important aspect, because that way you get in people with different backgrounds, and that really truly reflects how international your business actually is. And then also, I feel like it's important that the different subsidiaries of the companies have good internal communication, because otherwise I don't think you can develop your international strategy well.
This is please pay attention to this point. Communication, how important a role that can play in formulating your communication. One subsidiary is thinking like this, another one is thinking like this, next one is thinking like this, and you are trying to spread in 10 countries, and everyone is trying to think on their own. And even if you communicate, sometimes, well, remember our one friend mentioned, I think in yesterday's session, that the things are lost in translation. Things are lost in translation. He made a very interesting point. So many times, so for example, I am trying to convey something to you right now, and throughout the sessions I was trying to convey something to you, and I think that I am conveying it, and I think I am doing a good job, but am I really conveying it or not? I cannot be sure about that, because that is, every one of you is different. Every one of you is different. As to some of you, I will be conveying and will be conveying fine, and they will like me and they will say very good. There will be some people in this cohort, in any cohort. I'm not talking about you guys. whichever is the situation, there will be some people who will say, no, 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 I'm not understanding. This thing is wrong or that thing is wrong. So this, see, communication is very, very wicked thing. Yeah, same way for you. You, whatever points you guys are making, you are thinking that you are able to communicate it to us, because you are not just talking to me, you are talking to 70 people here. This is a big crowd you have to talk, to share your ideas here. So are you communicating with all of them or not? There will be a couple of people where you are not, who are maybe maybe they will have their different meaning. You meant something else, but they will take their different meaning. This happens. This is the nature of communication. So you have to be very careful about this part in international trade, because if communication has some problem, you are not able to, share the ideas in the right way, then you will execute in a wrong way. And then uh, uh, you can link it with the earlier discussion, how hard it is to re-enter in the market and so on. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so regarding strategy, I think it's also really important to define a mission, vision, and goals for the company. So they need to be aware what they want to achieve. However, I think it's really important to stay flexible to changing needs, because economic or political circumstances in any market will
Right.
always change. So you have to constantly analyze the market situation so that your strategy can respond to changes.
Yeah, so think about it, maybe you like the topic of strategy and you want to maybe work in strategy, but think about it, how difficult it can be, especially as the business is growing, because you have to be constant lookout on this. There is no permanent strategy. Yes, your overall vision can be same, that we want to do that. Your overall mission can be same. Those are one or two or three lines which companies have, their mission, vision, goal, objectives, whatever. But your strategy is quite a complicated thing, very complicated. And then there is no, you see, if you are if Isabel is the manager, she is going to have her own strategy to the same thing. And if Pauline is the strategy manager, she is going to make it a little bit different. And if Ryan is, he's going to do it different, and Saad is going to do it different, and Alex is different, and Ben is different, and Bianca is different. All of there will be different strategy. Yeah, different strategy. So who you going to make the manager? Yeah, so that is why international human resource manager, that becomes very important and interesting. And you don't, with strategy you can't know before executing. Strategy looks um, there is a quote, please run it on Google search and read about it. I was reading somewhere, and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember it exactly. It said something like, uh, strategy is what it is, but culture eats strategy at the breakfast. Yeah, culture eats strategy at the breakfast. Breakfast is what? As you start. So you can have wonderful strategy, and the culture of that, whatever culture is there, it is going to just eat the strategy, because if you did not take care of the cultural modalities and so on. Yeah. Uh, so think about that. Very, very interesting point. Yeah, please go ahead. Next one.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Pauline.
I would also like to refer to the point that the customers are key. I agree with the others that you always have to keep an eye on them and the customer is key. But I think that for successful strategic international trade, um, needs to be a proactive discipline rather than a reactive one. So that you take into account the evolution of technology, like social media, social listening platforms, cultural and trend analysis, have made it easier for marketers to stay pretty close to the customers and yeah, become more accurate in spotting, predicting, and yeah, leveraging trends to understand what the customer wants.
Great point, great point. No doubt about that. Yes, customer is king, but there are other things which should be kept in mind. Thanks for this pointer, Pauline. Yes, next one.
Um, so next thing that to keep in mind for strategy are just the risks. So the events that can possibly happen. So risk management is very, very important too.
Very good point. Short, brief, but extremely important. And as a matter of fact, risk management, I don't remember talking about it at all throughout the session. So thanks very much for adding this in our discussion, risk management. Yeah, because there are always going to be risks, and you are no matter how you are entering in any market, whatever, it's not going to be risk free. There are some risks which you are taking in doing anything in life, and in international trade also you are going into different markets, you are taking some type of risks. So when those things happen, if something uh, happens in reality, how you are going to manage that, those risk management. So that is very that is key, because think about this in the sense that there will be risks. So if there are risks, you should not go in the market. Well, when you go on the road, when you will walk out of wherever you are from your home to go on road, there is a risk that there can be any accident. Uh, Wherever you are there, inside or outside, I am sitting on wherever I am, there is risk associated, anything can happen. But when we drive, when we go out and driving fast and stuff like that, there are risks, but we are doing that. So same way in international business, risks should not stop you from doing what you want to do. It is just that, as our friend very nicely used the term managing them, you just have to manage them. How you are going to do that, that you need to remember as you are formulating strategy. And the last friend also, I think she also this proactive, being proactive than reactive, that that terminology, I think, is we did not use it. So think about that. Yeah, next one, please go ahead.
So I just wanted to say that, like, also in terms of risk management, you need to do a market analysis. Like, you need to analyze your competitors to know how they. So in order to know your strengths and weaknesses, you also need to be informed about the strengths and weaknesses of your competitors. So this is quite important in order to build a strategy.
Oh yes, extremely important point, and thanks for that. So these are some of the things which you guys highlighted, that these are the things which are important in strategy for formulation. Look into your wherever you work, and ask them what is your strategy to create more profit. What are the things you are doing? Are you changing the suppliers? Are you always looking for the new suppliers who are going to give you something at a better price? Are you doing that? Are you always trying to improve the product, and trying in order to understand the need of the customer? Are you going to do that? Are there promotions, things like that? You do that? Are you depending on marketing campaign? Are you looking at quality? The quality of your product is too high, that that is your strategy, that if the product will be of quality, people are going to buy it, and I'm going to go in the international market. Yes, I'm going to charge them, but that is my strategy. Look at these car companies, like BMW. They're making different type of cars. Yeah. On the other hand, Toyota is giving something else. They are going into international trade on a different note. Toyota is going to maybe say this is reliable. It is not going to break down. You can do whatever you want with that. It is long run. It is value for money. Maybe that is the pitch Toyota is going to put you. But what about BMW? BMW is not going to say those things. A BMW, well, don't like, don't I know some of you might be very close to BMW, and I love the brand also. It is wonderful brand, but because a lot of technology, they are including more and more and more technology in it. So the more the technology is involved, the higher the chance of a breakdown and things going bad. And so these new BMWs, they might not stand there for next, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. It's not going to maybe happen in the old BMWs. Yes, yes, but now they are not doing that. They are not. They can they do that? Of course they can make a BMW which is going to last, but they don't want to do that. They want people to buy it and use it for a couple of years, and then buy the new model, and then buy the new model, and just, but the experience in a luxury car of that. And you can pick up other brands also. I just mentioned one in that. So they are giving you different, their strategy is to fascinate you, to, you just sit down and you feel so comfortable and nice, and the sound is so nice, and this and that, and the technology is there, and they are giving you different experience. So their strategy is that. On the other hand, Toyota is different, Honda is different. On the other hand, if you want to talk about a little bit more premium, you can think about Rolls Royce. What is the strategy of Rolls Royce? How many Rolls Royce they make per year? Yeah. On the other hand, how many Suzukis they make per year? So I'm not trying to say that one is better than the other. They are just different. Their strategies are different. So once their objective is going to be different, one is going for human aesthetics and pleasure and other things. Other is going for quality, durability, and other things. So then their strategy is going to be different, and then it will have all the impact on the supply chain in various issues. Yes, Sebastian, you want to say something? Please go ahead.
Yes, I want to say that it's also very important that you define the business you are in correctly. I mean, there is the theory of marketing myopia. It's by Theodore Levi, and he said that you have to ask yourself, what business are you really in? And I think this is very key when it comes to internationalization, because if you define it wrong, then you might see huge problems facing.
Oh yes, beautiful, beautiful, great point. Please, guys, read up on this what Sebastian has mentioned. That is quite relevant and useful. That what business you are in, what are you trying to do, and you can link it with anything. Like for example, I am trading myself. I am doing this international trade with you guys, exchange and whatever I am trying to do. So what is my strategy of doing this? You must have taken so many courses, but look at my strategy. You should be able to, say, okay, all right, this is how he is doing it. This is, so it can, you might like it, you might hate it. That is a different story, but strategy is definitely different. You can't say that strategy is same. You are going to say that strategy is different, but you like it or you don't like it, that is different. Yeah, but I have taken the risk, I have taken the, initiative, whatever you want to call it. This is my style, this is my brand, this is how I am going to go in international market. When I am going to speak with people from different cultures, this is my strategy. It might pass, it might fail, no problem in that. There is risk in that. If it is pass, very good. If it fails, we can improve it, tweak it, and over a period of time we can say what happens to the strategy. So the very good point Sebastian has made, that you're going in international trade, you want to see what business you are, what you are trying to, what is, how you are going, differentiation. You want to differentiate in the market. Don't do the same things which other people are. Don't, so for example, they say that in the interview they ask you, for example, tell me about yourself. Tell me what are your strengths. Tell me what are your weaknesses. These are type of questions which are asked across the globe. In all cultures, people ask these type of questions in the interviews. And there are some pet answers which you can Google on the internet, and they will say, oh, you should say this. You should say this, and so on, so forth. So think about that. How you would want to answer a question. How do you want to stand out without offending anyone. So this technique can be very challenging also, because one can say something which can offend someone, and anything can happen. But this is what Bianca mentioned, risk management. Yeah. So that is what it is. You just try your thing and see what is happening, and within that you manage your risk, and over a period of time, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, you become a little bit better. Will you become perfect after 30 years? No, you will not. That is why all international businesses continuously keep on making mistakes, continuously, and many times they repeat their mistakes, and we think that they did not learn. It is not that they did not learn. They did learn, but international trade, the nature, international business management, the nature is that so many things keep on coming again and again and again and again. Every day is different day. So many things come. So you have to just manage them and see what is happening. And for many big businesses, the thing is that just break even. If you can break even, launch it. Try not to have loss. Just break even, and we can, in some markets we will make profit. That is what the strategy is. And overall, so you will not see any international business, any international business, any, you can think any international business which is equally successful in all markets in the world. That is just not possible. That shows us, please reflect on this, that shows us that there is no clear cut strategy. There is no clear cut one strategy. If there were any, all the businesses would just use that strategy, and all of them would be successful. There is nothing like that. This is how international trade is. There is you have to look at so many things. Yes, Paula, please go ahead.
Yes, I would like to add something to that because we, sorry, can you hear me?
You are
Okay.
perfectly, you are sounding great. Please go ahead.
Okay. I think we talked a lot about the goal of an international strategy, but I think the most important is the way how to reach these goals. And like you just said, it can't be one strategy for all the subsidiaries. So you have to define maybe as a mother company how much space you want to give your subsidiaries and what they need to do from the strategy, like what every company needs to do and what they are free to do.
Oh yes, that is there. So this last line, they take what they can do, or what they want to do, and what they are free to do. Yeah, this is an interesting thing. So in one subsidiary, they want to do something, and whatever they are they free to do that? Is the headquarters have given them the go ahead that yes, you can try? What is your own way of managing international trade? Just put yourself, all of you guys, put yourself as the CEO of an international business, and let's say that I am in charge of your international business in Jamaica. How much authority you are willing to give me? Are you going to say, all right, Tashfin, please go ahead and do what you want to do? I have full trust on you. And even if there are some complaints or something like that, or I have my own way of doing things, and I'm maybe, I'm doing different things, and whatever I'm doing. So, and there are some laws which are stopping me to do that, or some regulation or something, but I know what I'm doing, and you have trust on me, and I have been successful in the past, and you have seen my track record that when I go in a new market in the early days, I do have challenges and those type of things, but then I learn quickly. And So with this context, which you guys have set very nicely, you look into different type of strategies and different types of theoretical frameworks which can be used. For example, look at this one, the three C's model. It is talking about what are three C's. One is cost. What will be the cost of your product or service? A customer, who is going to be your customer? Which market segment you are trying to really attract? What are they, as one of the friends mentioned, what do they really need, what do they really want? All those type of things you would look into customers. And competition, who are you competing against? What are their resources? It is very important to know who you are competing against, especially in international trade. Who is your competition? It is just like, if the what are the skills they have, what are the resources, uh, how is their risk management, how big they are, how influential they are. All those things are going to matter in the international trade for you. uh, the big the competition is, the more you will have to prepare and hone yourself. Otherwise you will just go in the market and come out of it as a failure. So these three things, three C's, essential, fundamental of strategy making. Costing issue, very important. Costing. So costing, at the end of the day, whatever product you have, from the raw materials, from how they were dispatched, your inventory cost, other thing you study in operations management type of course. All of those things, the salaries you pay to staff, your overhead cost, electricity, and all these taxes and everything, at the end of the day, that determines what is the cost of the product. And look at that, look at what is the price of a decent chocolate, uh, a Bounty, a Mars, a Kit Kat, a Cadbury, these type of entry level, and they taste nice, they taste perfect. Just look at, go in the shop and see how they are very economically priced. And don't you get fascinated that how they were able to how they were able to give it to us? It tastes fine and it is packaged fine and everything. How they were able to do all the get rid of all these issues and manage the supply chain well and give it to us at this such low cost. How that is possible? Yeah, think about it. From your economics course, link it with economies of scale, economies of scope, and reflect on this. So for example, so think about this 3C essential model. Yes, yes, please go ahead if you have to say something, no problem.
Yeah, I just wanted to enhance the point that, like, the three C's, this model is kind of correlates also with the strengths and weaknesses theory.
Oh
Because
yes,
if you know as much as possible about your competitors, for example, and about their strategies, you
yeah,
can also focus then on exploiting their weaknesses. Like, if you
yes.
focus your strategy about their strengths and weaknesses as well.
Yeah, thanks for helping me, Vera, with this. Appreciate it. So he's talking about, something like SWOT analysis, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Something like PESTEL analysis, P for, I think, politics, E for economy, S for something else, T for technology, E for something else, and L for law or something else. Please run a search, PESTEL, PESTEL. I'm sure you are aware of that. So think about those things, SWOT analysis and these type of things. Look at this one, five forces model. I am sure you must have seen it somewhere, in some of the courses or something. Five forces model by a competitive strategy by Michael Porter, quite famous. Entry of new competition. How easy is it for new competition to enter in the market? So you have to think that in your strategy. Threat of substitute, whatever you are going to offer in the market, is it easily replaced, is it easily substituted or not? So you have to think about this. So whatever product you are selling, I am selling myself, I am selling my product, whatever I am doing. So I need to think about that whatever I am doing, is it easily replaceable, or I have a different strategy that it will stick in the minds and hearts of not all of the people, but few, maybe five, six, seven, eight, not all of them. Everyone is not going to like you, whatever you do. That is not, if you are going to please everyone, you are not going to please them. That is not, you will displease yourself. So don't go in the international trade, international market, and no business go like that. They don't go to please everyone. They just select a decent enough proportion of the people, so a decent majority of the people like them, and then they buy their product and those type of things and support the business, and rest is fine. Bargaining power of buyers. Yeah, the peer, what is that? Bargaining power of suppliers. So we touched on this in our negotiation conversation. What is the bargaining power? Rivalry among existing competition, and we spoke about. I gave you some example. Please link this point with the discussion earlier. We had like the cooperation. One friend gave example of Apple and so on. Apple, Samsung, Ireland, and I also gave you couple of examples. So rivalry among existing competition. So in the first one, in the 3C, it was competition, and so see, it is developing on that. Let me show you maybe one more. uh, there are so many models, you will see what is, but I'm trying to show you like the basic essential one. So for example, this one is 7S model. So one part is strategy, then the structure of the organization, and we will talk about that in the structure and operation of international trade going forward. Systems, procedures. One friend spoke about documentation in last session. SOP, standard operating procedure manuals, those stuff. We have been talking about that throughout the week. A skill set, yeah, style, personality, shared values. We have been talking about that again throughout the discussions. And thanks for the pointer you are making on that also. So think about these things. Let's look at maybe one more. Let's look at if I really want to. Yeah, so think about these things. What are how they have these models, 7S, 3C, and so on. Yes, let's look at this one. This one, yeah. uh, as you would know, strategy is a course in itself. Business strategy, that is a course in itself. That shows how important. As a matter of fact, you must have realized by now that these topics which we are looking at in international trade, they are stand-alone courses in themselves. Political economy is a course, a separate course. Globalization is a separate course. Ethics is a separate course. International theory is a different. It's linked with politicals and international relations and those type of things, different course. So think about the so many things you have to be mindful of in international trade. So look at this one is very nice. Seven C's model plus result. So cost, uh, customer, competition, this is coming from 3C, and then four more. Context, what is the context in which you are working? Environment, your own internal context, and external environment. Capabilities, skills, channels, distribution channels, for example, marketing channels, for example. Capital, money. Do you have the capitals? You might have big dreams, but do you have finance to support it? That is remain another interesting question. And all of this, and then the results. What has been the results of all of these individually and collectively? That is what it is going to be all about. So this I just took out a book on strategy and tried to maybe show you a couple of things from from that. Uh, I think this is essentially which I wanted to discuss. But let me have 1 or 2 more minutes uh, to complete this discussion. When you will go on the website, please look into these things. For some slides are posted. Strategy of international business, as you can see, I have put in a small talk on strategy of international business. Find some time to look into this and look at the strategies of different businesses wherever you are. I think that would be important. I am giving you example from Jamaica. This is example I wanted to share with you. And then international example, I have decided to use Qatar Airways. Uh, uh, and the CEO of Qatar Airways, and I'm trying to link the leadership style with the organizational strategy and so on. So these two clips, please watch them in your own time and see what is the personality of the CEO Qatar Airways, Al Bakr, and then see how he deals with the questions with the CNN, how he answers, how he talks about his rivals, and so on, and try to see what the role of leadership, how the leadership style, and how it can impact the organizational strategy and uh, and so forth. And in conclusion, you can also, if you realized, we did this already when we were talking about the personality of Honorable Trump, and what he is doing in his with his in his country, with his country, and so on. With this, I am going to conclude the official conversation with you guys. Thank you very much for contributing in the discussion. See you later. You can leave if you would want, but I'm here if you want to talk about anything. Those who are leaving, have a wonderful rest of the night.